Hey guys, quite a few of you seem to enjoy my inking tutorial video, and you had some questions about brush pins or fude pins, and I thought I would take a minute to just sort of demonstrate some of my favorite ones and talk to you about them a little bit. So right now we have two categories on the table. We have non-waterproof and we have waterproof and alcohol marker proof. And the non-waterproof that are in my favorites categories are the Kuretake Fude Go Koji. As you see, a fude pin has this sort of like tiny brush nib to it. And my favorite have a brush nib that is all one piece. Usually it's one piece of foam rubber. This is the Kuretake number 6, but I also recommend the Kuretake number 33. The number 6 has two ends, a large black brush nib, and a slightly smaller, though still fairly large, gray brush nib. Now, in the waterproof and alcohol marker proof, there is a caveat. You do need to allow the ink to cure for at least 24 hours. And brush pins in this category include Sakura of America's Pigma Brushes. This is the same company that makes micron pins. And also Sailor's Mitsuo Ida brush pin. And the Pigma pins come in 3 sizes. They come in BB, big brush, MB, medium brush, and FB, which is a very small brush. The Sailor Mitsuo Ida has 2 ends. There is the large brush end and the much finer brush end. And this is the pin that I do pretty much all of my field tests with. It's handy, it's compact. I buy a lot of them when I buy them. And I really like it. They can be kind of hard to find in the US. Now, all of these pins up here, the number 33 or number 6, the Fude Go Koji, and the Pigmas, you can get these all on Amazon, and check the description below for links. You can also get them on jet pins. You can get you can get these through Dick Blick. The Sailor Mitsuo Ida, I have only seen it on jet pins, which is unfortunate, as I do like to comparison shop. But at least there is an American vendor willing to carry them. So let's have a brief demonstration. So we're going to start with the Mitsuo Ida. And this one might be a little bit beaten up. I've used it for a little while. So you can get very fine lines. You can get thicker lines. And here is the larger brush. You can also get fairly fine lines, much thicker lines, and this end is good for doing black fills. So where you have a large area you need to color, you would use this end rather than this end. Now, with the Pigma Bb, one of the reasons I really like it is the brush nib on this thing is almost the same as the nib on the super brush nib on a Copic. Very similar levels of flexibility. This one has a lot of bounce, a lot of snap. You can pull fine lines, you can pull really juicy, larger lines, and the brush gets a little bit deformed, but not too badly. It doesn't get too mushy. I highly recommend the BB. The MB, the medium brush, is slightly smaller than the BB for comparison. However, I don't like the MB nearly as much. It feels scratchier. I think the nib is actually made of fiber rather than nylon. There just isn't as much bounce. else, and it's more prone to getting beaten up and mushy. The FB is their fine nib, and it's one of the finer Fude nibs. Let's see if I can get to focus. I've seen. It is even smaller than the nib on the Sailor Midsole Ida. So if you're very light-handed, or you draw very small things, or you want very fine details, the FB is a good way to go. Now, if I have access to these waterproof and Copic-proof brushes, why do I use Fude pens that aren't necessarily? Well, because I really like how they handle. I use the Kuretake Fude Go Kochi in my sketchbook. I am just familiar with it. I like how it feels in my hand. This one is getting beaten up and worn out. You can see it's the line is starting to break up when I pull a line. It shouldn't happen with a fresh pen. And with the number 6 or the number 33, this is a number 6. This has a really large, juicy brush on it, and it is pretty much the same body. If you're familiar with the Zig Art and Graphic Twin, this is pretty much the same. And if you enjoy calligraphy and you're currently using the Tombow ABT, I highly recommend you give the Zig Art and Graphic Twins a look, because I think they are superior in how they handle. Now, I'm going to show you some examples of some things that I've inked with these types of pens. Alright, so I'm going to show you a few of the things I've inked with my brush pens. So, like I said earlier, pretty much all of my marker tests, the field tests, are inked with a Sailor Midsole Ida. And if you allow it to cure properly, it's not going to smear. So these were all inked with the Midsole Ida. This was inked with the Midsole Ida, and this is Spectrum Aqua, so it's watercolor, and you can see it didn't smear or reactivate it because I allowed it to properly cure. These were both inked with the Pigma brushes and allowed to cure for 24 hours. This is water-based media and alcohol markers, and this is also water-based media and alcohol markers. So there's no smearing, there's no running. Once you allow them to cure, they are fully in place. And I enjoy using my Kuretake Fude Go Kochi over blue lines in my sketchbook, and I can drop those blue lines digitally using Photoshop. And for those of you who have been around, here it is. And this was inked with, in fact, for you guys on my channel, it was inked with my number 6. So I hope you guys were intrigued by what I had to show you regarding these interesting pens. If you're looking them up, they're Fude, F-U-D-E, not food, Fude. And they are basically Japanese calligraphy pens that some Western artists are starting to use as inking utensils. And I highly recommend you give them a shot. They really added a layer of dynamic bounciness to my line art that just wasn't possible before I discovered these pens. I'm currently working on a post that's sort of a primer for comic artists and illustrators who are looking to introduce these pens to their work on the blog. And you can check out my blog at nidasoup.blogspot.com. Please keep an eye out for that post. And you can see videos of me using these kinds of pens to ink. Some of them are tutorials here on the channel, so keep an eye out for that. I hope this little look at Food Day Pins was enlightening and exciting for you guys. I hope I've inspired you and introduced you to your new favorite tool. If you enjoy content like this, please remember to like this video and consider subscribing to the channel. If you found this useful or helpful, please remember to share this video to your social networks so other artists and crafters can benefit from my knowledge, I guess. And if you'd like to help make more videos like this, because they can get kind of expensive, please check out my Patreon at patreon.com/natosoup. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you later with even more art. Bye!